I'm Anna.
And I'm Ben.
We are AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Demon Slayer, Season 3, Episode 5, last episode. Things aren't looking good for the gang.
Or the people of the village.
Yeah.
The swordsmiths.
You know, I don't know if I can remember a time in recent history where both Nezuko and Tanjiro seem to be actually down for the count. You know, like in Season 2, I felt like things just kept happening to hurt and injure Tanjiro, but he kept getting up and getting up and going and going.
Pushing his body to a point where we were even worried about a lasting effect that him pushing himself was going to have on any recovery.
Yeah, but at this point, it looks like we're KO'd, and we're 4 episodes into the new season. But thankfully, Mitsuri is on her way.
Yes.
And so is Tokito.
Yeah.
Excited to see it. Excited to see Genya, more of him, learn what that whole, you know...
The whole thing is.
The whole thing becoming a full thing is. The regeneration. Kind of. I don't know. You ready?
Yeah.
Sweet. I'm so happy to be here. Yeah. Okay, alright. Good news. The broken one? Thank you for, like, rushing things along.
Okay.
The broken one, right? Do you think you fixed it? I mean, in the intro, we see it kind of looking like it's more than one part. It's full. See, it breaks apart there. I'm still a little worried. Oh, no.
Oh, it's actually there. Like, the actual.
Gyoko?
Voice acting for demons in this show
so
is
good.
otherworldly. It's amazing.
Yo.
Kill it.
Whew.
Already knew where to get it.
Oh my god. It has
It's the boss.
4 of them. Poor guy.
Reminds me of the spider arc.
Do you think it was targeting the chief? Like...
Also the fact that Gyoko would be at the shed for...
Look at that. It really is like a ribbon, or like one of Daki's belts, right? Love breathing. Whew! Shivers of first love. Oh. He's fine.
He's gonna wake up.
When one of them's down, the other one's gonna pick the other up. Could Nezuko get, like, really hurt by trying to, like, touch an Ichirin sword?
I mean, I've been wanting to see Nezuko use a Nichirin sword.
That would be nuts. Exploding blood on the sword? You know? Like a sword on fire.
What other reason would Nezuko be clinging onto it? There's a purpose.
Zora High. My artwork.
Oh, is it like people that he's gonna regurgitate? Or the fish?
It's worrisome seeing Tokito have expressions like that. Oh, fuck.
I hate that there's still move.
What the fuck?
I don't want to.
What the fuck am I watching?
No!
Poison.
Poison? Oh!
Fucking course it's poison, bro. What the fuck? What did he just remember? What?
His breathing.
The one with the water that came out of it has water on the pot, right? Each pot indicates what it is used for, seemingly. Ah! Bright red.
Bright red.
Yo, exploding blood sword. What the fuck? Just like the way about his scar. Oh. See Rengoku's cape on the side.
Yeah. Just a sliver of it. God, I'm getting emotional.
Oh.
He says it. Nearly beheaded him.
Oh! What the fuck?
dance.
あと1体だ。一度に4体切らないと。
His sword's still red.
ケンヤ、無事だった。
Hell yeah!
切ってる。やったやった。ケンヤか。なんだ、まるで。
Was he turned into a demon?
No! Stop! Stop!
We're civil. You know, we're
Are we
composed. It's okay. It's fine.
Cool, calm, collected.
It's
all the
it's
time.
good.
Good water. This is good
This is what I was like waiting for, man. This is like every ounce of me was waiting for this. And if I'm honest, I didn't expect it this episode. I thought it was going to be another just episode build up, whatever. Oh my god.
Just last night you were raving about season 2's animation for Demon Slayer, so
I need to like right after we get the cute part at the end, I need to rewatch that
Sure, I see it.
animation.
刀ってどうやって鞘に収めるんですか？
good question.
おお、すごいです。
そんなにすごいか。もう一回見せちゃおうかな。
Do it again.
There's a third time's charm.
Okay, that was Demon Slayer Season 3, Episode 5. Okay. Alright. We're gonna get a few things squared away first before we talk about the crux of the entire episode, in my opinion. And just to touch on that in a second, it felt so, I could be totally off base here, and it could just be my own feelings, but it felt so reminiscent of, I believe, Season 1, Episode 19, Hinokami Kagura, when the animation first went to a different dimension, and Tanjiro, mixed with Nezuko using exploded blood, had attempted to chop off Rui's head. That's what it was very reminiscent of, and I cannot wait to get to the part in this discussion chronologically when we're able to rewatch that and gush over it more, because holy shit. There's only so much the human eye can comprehend at once.
I just majorly appreciate the name of that move that he said afterward that was head dance.
Yeah.
I really appreciated the title of that move.
It's so cool. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. It makes sense that there are stationed Demon Slayer guards protecting.
Yeah.
You know,
this village is vital to the Demon Slayers. We should not be surprised by that.
And like the upper ranks are saying, taking this place out would be a extremely vital hit to the Demon Slayer Corps.
But there's some other reason why they're here. And I didn't quite completely remember the name. It started with a U. Ubo Yashiki's head is in reach.
Gotcha. Where did we get that?
We got it, I think, by Gyoko more towards the end, when he was saying about the fact that this village will be a major hit to the Demon Slayers. And so he said that in the same conversation, probably within around the same line. And I don't quite remember where, but it sounded important. So I wrote it down to the best of my ability. Obliterating the village would be great. Once we've brought the Demon Slayers to their knees, even Ubo Yoshiki's head will be within reach.
Interesting. I wonder if that has anything to do with the, what do you call it?
The blue
spider lily. Because you don't oftentimes get great potential things to be looking for, or weapons, or like we have a big name that we're searching for, right? And this is another big thing that seems to be coming up that has connected with the past couple episodes. I wonder if that's connected in any regard, though.
I feel like it would be. I mean, why else would they give us the name of something that we don't necessarily know what it is, unless it's kind of like a plant? Yeah.
But it's interesting language that they use, because once we've brought the Demon Slayers to their knees,
it doesn't necessarily mean that within this village is this head, but this is the first step to proving to the demons that they're strong enough to even surmount to this, to
Yeah.
getting the head of this person.
I wonder, okay, ahead of him, right?
Mhm.
The head is the thing that needs to be chopped off for majority of the demons to be able to kill them. Would it make it so that they are actually invincible? Would it make it, like we've been suggesting, like impervious to sunlight? Like what would this?
Or is it just a ceremonial kind of look
What
what we
Muzan
did?
wants?
Yeah, because if we think about, obviously Muzan is, we learned in this episode that the demon slayer that we've been seeing from the inherited memories and of the sword that was in this village that Haganeska's working on came very, very significantly close to getting rid of Muzan.
Yeah.
And that is why all of these demons have their own inherited memories from Muzan's blood that they recall this upon seeing Tanjiro acting in this episode.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder if sometimes when they say someone's head or like head will be in reach, it doesn't have to be literal. Like my first thought was if you're talking about like, say a snake is a person, you're talking about a person, but you're using like the literary, like the snake and their fangs would be the sword they use.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that maybe that's the territory they were going, or it's more of a ceremonial, you cut off the head of demons to kill us, so we'd cut off your head. You know?
Yeah.
To make it means something to us, just in terms of just the act means something to us. It's a performance art. I'm using performance art because Gyoko, I think he would appreciate that.
Yeah. What do you think about the fact that Mitsuri's sword was forged by the chieftain of the village?
I think that's really special. Obviously, this technique is something that it seems like even the swordsmith of the village are in awe of, the fact that it even works. And how does it even work? Because it seems like it's a technique that only this one very high up person in this village can achieve.
Yeah.
So it definitely reinforces why, again, another layer of why it's so important when the swordsmith villagers are like, save the chief, save the chief. It seems like it's much more than just save the chief because he's our chief. To me, it seems like save the chief because he's the holder of all of these ancient techniques that the demon slayers need, and that the loss of the chief and all of that technique and information would be a major blow, even more so than just some of the swordsmith dying.
Yeah. What was just to go back to it a little bit, what the head that that he was referring to, was that the master's head? Do we know was that the master's name? When did we get Tokito talking about the master? Was it last episode?
He's running in the woods back toward Tanjiro when he says the master. I'm so used to calling the master, but you're right for us to double check this. I'm so used to calling him just the master that I don't even think about what his actual name is.
I agree with you, but I'm trying to remember. God, I feel so stupid. When we actually got it, because that would make the most sense to me, right? Mm-hmm. If you want to like it, that because through defeating the demon slayers, you would have easier access to. Well,
technically, the master's the head of the demon slayers, Yeah. And is very well protected, and that could, as someone of Muzan's bloodline, someone of relation to Muzan, I guess that would be very meaningful to Muzan to take that person down, that this person is the one training demon slayers in order to take him down.
That makes the most sense to me.
See, I was like, okay, I actually did think, oh, what is the master's name? And then I also was like, oh, maybe it's the name of the swordsmith that the demons were seeing in Tanjiro.
Yeah. I know you must be confused. Living for nothing more. Don't let your chance slip away. Mist in your head.
Gosh,
I don't know. It's gonna be hard.
He says it in there.
It's gonna be hard to find it just clicking around, and obviously we want to. In my mind, that makes the most sense to me right now. So it could be the case, but my thoughts that I wanted to give on Mitsuri's sword, as well. The physics are unbelievable to me, and that's why I love it. Yeah. I like the pink as well with the black.
I think I especially liked the usage of it, that when we get the first kind of shot of her running into the village and slashing all those vases, she is so unfazed in this like running shot, the side view of her, and you just see kind of this movement around her on all sides. And I'm like, this is epic.
It's like, I've seen videos of people who try to replicate water bending in Avatar: The Last Airbender, but within their own cosplay. And a lot of times they're managing to pull it off in a realistic way by using ribbons and dancing with them in a very flowing technique. And that's what it kind of reminds me of. It's really cool.
It makes you wonder, is this some type of dance that she did traditionally as a child with something like ribbons or something of that nature, similar to Hinokami. That is why she chose what would be most comfortable for her, the ribbon sword.
Yeah.
We get, like, with Shinobu, we get that she has a very needle-like poisonous sword, and I believe Shinobu's reasoning was because it was just lighter for her to use, and it kind of fit her body
and killing a
better.
demon in a way that isn't slicing somebody's head.
Yeah,
right?
and she wasn't able, I think she even said that she wasn't able to slice a head off, so she needed like another way, and obviously super creative on her end. And there's something I really like about this ribbon sword that I feel like if I was a demon slayer, I'd be pretty stoked if I had this ribbon sword.
So what is your takeaway of the Tanjiro waking up to like the smell of something?
I was trying to figure out what the scent was.
Could that as well be an inherited memory? Or like, was it the scent of just being close to
Nezuko? But
or
like,
the
he was
demons,
already laying next to Nezuko beforehand, so it's not like, oh, now Nezuko's carrying me and now I smell something. The smell didn't even look pleasant.
No, but
in visual.
But the color seemed like more like Hinokami,
It does match the colors. It's possible, and it moves similar to flame.
Yeah.
That maybe Tanjiro's woken up sometimes and has his family members and loved ones communicate with him. That it would be cool if he had inherited smell-o-vision as well as inherited memories.
That leads us into the Tokito interaction. I assume I said it first and it was incorrect of like where we were headed first for Tokito, but do you think that if there is an after, defeating or leaving facing Gyoko, do you think we're going to try to meet up with Haganesuka to save him, or do you think he is so far in his reforging process that like he's not even like at risk because he's so like hidden?
My take on Haganesuka is he is that like Disney princess that doesn't need to be rescued.
That adds up to me. That sounds about right.
And that is my take of him, and I believe my take to be 100% accurate, even though I don't have much evidence really to.
I don't think you need it.
I don't need it.
No, not in reference to Haganesuka. Anything else I might push back on, but no, that sounds about right. So moving on. Anyway, Tokito. It's so interesting seeing like emotions on his face. I love like his clueless expression that he has, and like it's like an innocent cluelessness, But because of that, when there is an expression on his face, it makes me a little worried. And this time, that was very well warranted because we saw Gyoko pull out some Junji Ito fucking shit that I never want to look at again. I don't want to pull it up on screen.
I'm pretty sure that the body that when he twists the sword, which is so awful. And as someone who graduated with an art degree, his explanation of his art piece, I think it like messed with me so bad because I was like, oh my god.
Yo, all I'm
so
saying,
sick.
you know what it is though? Like I get you if we want to delve into that realm a little bit. he's the kind of like douchebag in the class who can't take a critique.
Yeah,
Like
and he's like, oh, you need to listen to my whole spiel. I'm like, I've met some of these people.
Yeah, but like you can like have all these intentions that you want to put into an art piece because it's subjective to a degree. But once you have to be able to receive criticism, especially when it comes to the type of emotions you're trying to gauge off of somebody. You're not trying, like, what are you trying to convey? Terror? If you are, what does twisting the sword do? That seems more theatric.
That's why I thought he would like me saying
than the art
performance
piece
art.
Itself.
That's why I thought he would like me saying performance art.
Yeah, but
at the beginning, and so
seems uneducated.
I just
to me.
like really, for some reason, like latched onto this scene because of obviously the horrifying nature. But I was really enjoying in terms of like writing. I was, as someone who loves art and has studied it for too long. There was something about the language of how he was talking about his art piece and the thought that this character, and obviously the mangaka, put into how he was describing what he had entrapped the sounds, basically, of their death throes. And I was like, I am, like, horrifyingly enjoying this explanation right now. And I was, it worked for me. It worked for me in a really horrifying way. It hit me in the depths of my soul.
I think it totally works and lends itself to like a horror character of like somebody who comes at their work or like, you know, murder as something like as similar like art. To art. Yeah,
I feel like I've definitely seen that kind of idea in murder shows.
I just I'm acknowledging that, and I think it's great. I'm just going to personally attack Gyoko by what that work is because I think that it's a little shallow and surface level. We're having a critique
right now of his art.
The hallmark of a swordsmith, those blister-ridden, soiled hands, gonna show them like out. It's like wow, palm facing to everybody. No, you have to like, it's all surface level. If you try to look deeper into this art piece of defiled corpses of swordsmiths, then there's not much there other than the initial shock value.
The initial
Gyoko needs to fucking go back to the chalkboard and
go back to school
and learn how to be a little more receptive
and not kill the people that are critiquing him.
Yep.
And also elevator pitch, my man. You only got like a sentence or two that you can use to describe your art, and he's getting mad that he can't give his whole like synopsis, his whole research paper, and his whole reason why. Like, no, that's not how it works. Elevator pitch.
Like, sorry, man. Obviously, the piece wasn't intriguing enough on first look that people want to sit down and listen to your explanation for 30 minutes. They have priorities. They have things to do during that day.
About the blisters.
Yeah.
He's not even going to give us a chance to, like, notice it. Obviously,
that's the most infuriating part, right?
Like, don't tell me what I'm seeing. I want to, like, think for myself.
Exactly. You don't, like, show somebody the Mona Lisa and then point out every reason why it's great the first time they're looking at it. You should give them time to process what they're looking at. Never want to see it again. And then pick if you want to, you know, go to explain each thing. Okay, let's end that. Tokito,
I was enjoying that.
Yeah, Tokito got some needles in his face from these
wild and crazy
goldfish.
I didn't actually when we get that moment of the fish shooting the needles, and there's that kind of second delay in your mind of, oh my gosh, okay, Tokito stepped in front of it, and you don't get the front facing yet, and there's this like little second where you're like, okay, what am I about to see? Am I about to see that Tokito was like a magical man that made all of the needles go away?
There's a spider.
Be the magical spider killing man. Yay.
I'm gonna cut that part where you just said that, but
okay. So, yeah, there was a split second where you weren't sure if you were going to see that he had hit all of the needles away and it was going to be this amazing display.
You heard it, though.
But you don't want to believe that it's true, and it's all in a split second, so your mind's trying to, like, move a mile a minute. And then when you turn around and you see specifically the ones in his cheeks.
Yep.
And, like...
He had one in his ear, too.
The imagining of how deep those are going into his face... Ugh.
I hope he keeps the ear one as like a piercing.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. But after that entire interaction with Tokito, like the demon's able to transport himself between these different jars and pots, and he doesn't really understand why they're able to spawn in random places. I'm excited to see like, you know, the work through to defeat him.
Right.
I imagine it might come from being able to, once he obviously breaks out of what he's in, like trying to determine, oh, this pot has this type of design on it. How do we, you know what's going to happen before it happens?
I mean, like, Gyoko's really underestimating Tokito purely because he's a pompous artist. And he obviously is like, well, you didn't listen to my explanation, so you obviously, like, aren't smart enough to think about how to defeat me.
Yeah.
You're just, he says, you're all muscles where your brains are, or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen.
You don't know him.
You are underestimating this man, this boy.
Okay.
This young lad.
We are getting to the crazy part of this episode when the animation really kicked off, you know. I love that we had this like theme continuing of inherited memories from the demon side of things, because it really
it's
helps
nice to have the balance.
Well, I think it helps bridge the arcs together too, in between, like, going from upper 5 to upper 5, going from Gyutaro and Daki. Tanjiro touched on what he did in cutting off and beheading Gyutaro, but that really, like, I think it's a great bridge that both of them, Daki and this demon, is able to see similar things, and it connects everything back to Muzan.
It's it reminds me of a ladder in a visual. Like, there's these two poles and then there's these rungs going between it. You know, there's this balance of storytelling that's happening on both sides with some really nice parallels between demons and the humans and the demon slayers, and then also in terms of progress of climbing the ladder.
Yeah,
there's this nice gaining of information, gaining of technique, furthering development in Tanjiro himself.
Yeah. So in regards to like animation in this show, there's something that this show does other than just have an insane budget and use every ounce of talent they have within their studio to make the best art and animation possible. They have something that they do that I think is different from quite a lot of shows when they try to flex animation, right? I think when other shows, the best way that I can explain it, have a moment that requires, or they feel requires, better animation, more time and care, they are going to over-animate it. And I know a lot of people think that there isn't such thing as over-animation, but I think it comes down to pacing, right? Mm-hmm. Like, if you're going to show every second that you choose to animate something, it might draw on a little bit in an action sequence, right? You lose the actual pacing of the scene that you're in because they want to focus on the actual animation that is being drawn and done and given. Demon Slayer has never, ever had that sort of issue or problem. There is a moment in every sense of animation that they pop off on that it flies by in a blink of an eye, and it's like the best animation that other studios wish they could do, and hell, a quarter of the people watching this might never even see it because they blinked, right? Mm-hmm. But if you slow it down, where other animation studios would cheat a little bit on the line work just to be able to convey that quick succession of frames
and quick movement,
Demon Slayer does no such thing, man. Like, even the first step that Tanjiro makes from Sun Halo Dragon, you get a screen. I'm gonna try to pull it up in editing, where you get almost like a charcoal etching of Tanjiro with a lens flare and then aura around him. And that's
I really
just
like that look
that's
because
one
I
frame.
think it fits the fire to have him like charcoal drawn like that.
Exactly.
So
What's
right.
his origin from? It connects
the charcoal cell. Yeah,
exactly.
It's perfect.
And then it's literally one frame. Is that needed? Fuck no. Am I happy that it's there? Yes. It makes my life so much better. And then he just takes a step forward. It's
that whole succession of him stepping forward into the eye.
And okay, that's all great, right? But if you hit play, what are the odds that you're gonna actually be able to appreciate that in real time? And oh my god, I'm geeking out so much. I'm such a nerd.
How the skin kind of folds as the sword is slicing through it.
It's so good, man.
It's almost you could almost feel and sense as if you were in the kitchen cooking, like what it would be to slice through something by how it's drawn here, like how he's slicing through the neck of these demons.
Yeah, no, exactly.
There's a feeling
like
to
the
it.
fleshiness and how it pulls apart.
It's
Really it's kind of
creepy
crazy
and
how they're
awesome.
But I like how
visceral.
We're like the imaginary camera there is following the sword as it turns around, and then we go through him, and then it's not over. Jesus Christ. Doesn't this remind you of season 1 episode 19 Hinokami Kagura when he has the whole run up to Rui?
One thing I found really that I would like to point out is the color usage for the flames in Demon Slayer. When his sword is first affected by the blood demon art from Nezuko, it's not like out the bottle red, like cadmium red. There's this like fuchsia, there's this neon pink kind of feeling to it, and I really love the color usage in terms of like showing, like obviously the water with the blue is beautiful when he uses that, but when he uses fire, I love that they go all through the spectrum of like pinks, reds, oranges, yellows, like, and they use all the variations of it, and they use this whole wide spectrum of different colors, and it makes it like beautiful, like an art piece. It also seems otherworldly because of that. It's so
Yoko
awesome.
needs to like take a step back, break the fourth wall, and look at the production value and artistic direction of this show to maybe try to emulate that within his own art.
I think he would have appreciated your comment about the charcoal shot too.
Maybe. I don't know. He's kind of a piece of shit though.
Oh, he is. Yeah.
Oh my god, bro. Again, okay, I'm probably going to end up showing this on screen as well. As we like come into the dragon's frame, right? And it just keeps going on. We break it to get, like, we not even break it. We zoom into the dragon's eye, which then becomes Tanjiro's eye. And like close up, we can see his pupil.
There's some blue in here now.
Yeah.
So great.
It's like mixing the forms together almost in like artistic style. That's like what it is reminiscent of for me. God, it's so good, man.
I really appreciate the flash out happening again, which it kind of happened when we got that lens flare of the initial starting of this technique, of this attack, and that we got it with the demon getting sliced.
Yeah.
We get like a red screen with kind of like either a white or black slash through it.
You know what's great too? It's like, it's not just, this like quick one slice and whoever was quicker wins. You can feel the weight and momentum of the actual style that Tanjiro's fighting in. Like, it's like, it reminds me of when like you're taught how to swing a golf club or like a hockey stick, right?
Can you feel the contortion like in your arms?
Yeah.
So you see this shot of how he's like literally twisting
like
his arm.
Exactly. And like it, oh my
There's something about like even breaking down this scene that it's almost like you can feel a lot of these things and like have a sense of how they feel.
It's so beautiful, man. And like this is my favorite part of Demon Slayer, man.
And it starts on such a satisfying note. There's something really satisfying about his scar, the like flame, getting bigger right before this happens.
It's just like you can't compare. Nothing else that compares to this show in this regard. I said it when we were in our outro, but this might be one of the only shows that I've watched that I feel like 20 years from now I'll be able to like be like, yeah, I watched that live. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But going towards the end of the episode, something happened.
And we need to talk about it. We need to sit down and have a chit chat about this.
He does not seem to resemble the demon that he killed. Mm-hmm. He seems to resemble something different entirely.
Like a Genya demon.
Like a Genya demon, right?
Like Nezuko looks very much like Nezuko, but with like bleached tips. And that is kind of what Genya has right now.
How and why? It explains the regeneration a little bit. If this is like he's part demon.
That would be wild.
But
he also
how
has
would that work?
He has like a very aggression. Like there's an aggression to him that he then has to calm himself down, reminiscent of like using a lullaby to calm down Nezuko. Something
But why?
about that.
Like, okay, so how would it work though, right? Like if he was able to have that ability to regenerate previous to this episode,
Mm-hmm.
it must be something that is inherently him or within him or an ability that he has or has cultivated.
Mm-hmm.
What would the circumstances have to be to give him genetics of a demon without actually being infected from a demon?
We don't know what it would be like in this universe if a demon and a human had a kid.
Are you telling me that Lady Tomoyo had
It's
a
his
son
mom.
and it's Genya? No, I like
That'd
that
be
line of
insane.
thinking though. It's interesting.
I mean, I have wondered on multiple occasions if they would do something like this in this show, because you see it in other kind of media that uses otherworldly creatures, gods, devils, demons,
Yeah.
fairies, and you always get a half child. A child that is half human, half Percy Jackson, you know? You always get a child in these kind of worlds where there are other beings.
Yeah.
You always have that. And so I have wondered on multiple occasions if something like that would exist in Demon Slayer.
I wonder if it's something like the more you have to like utilize that power of regeneration, of fixing yourself, the more you're like losing
The more lethal the wound.
Yeah, or like how many times like you have to
use
like
it.
recover it, like a cruise atoll or something that you like are less. I don't know, man.
All I know is I already liked Genya before this because he fits into this character trope that I really adore for Demon Slayer character writing. And now I am so intrigued by him. I'm trying to think back and be like, okay, how did Genya ever react to Nezuko? Like, I don't think we ever got any actual reactions or dialogue or lines of Genya even like saying anything about Nezuko or reacting to Nezuko at all. So I'm like,
do you think we're going to have to like face him next, or do you think we're going to have to try to calm him down? Do you think Nezuko's going to have to fight him? Demon v demon?
I would adore. I think I would adore if Tandra was able to do something in the similar vein of the lullaby with Nezuko. If he was able to do something to help Genya here. I mean, I think it's pretty safe to say that Genya looks very demonic.
If Genya's made it this far and has had this ability, I feel like there has to be some control over it.
Yeah. Well, I think we were seeing what the coping and control was
Previously. Yeah. You're right.
And this is an upper, and this is his first time fighting an
You're
upper,
right.
so...
You are right.
Oh, God.
Maybe Mitsuri will help. I don't know.
Mitsuri's busy holding people's hands.
My last question or like idea here is, do you think Tokito is going to get out of his situation alone, or there's going to be an interruption of help for him? And then off of that, would Mitsuri then come to this scene?
You know, that's a really great question. There's a bunch of players right now all across the field, all in their own little kind of mini battles.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really great question of if someone got done first, who are they going to go help next?
Yeah.
No clue. I don't know. Are we done too? Like, we're talking about Genya here, but we're like completely not touching on the fact that Genya has the decapitated fourth head.
I'm not confident enough.
And we're not yet. So like, that's still a question mark of, are we done here? Is this battle over? Are we going to be dealing with Genya and then moving on to help Tokito?
No clue. I like in that terms of narrative, I feel like I have no idea where it's gonna go. I also love the idea that we already talked about it, but the position that Tokito's in, it's like he can't breathe now. That's like such a huge.
Yes.
Like,
What was the line? The greatest weapon of the Demon Slayers is their breathing.
Yeah, thought that was good.
That was a really great line. A way to phrase something that we've kind of been told in not so simple, broken down terms, and I really appreciated that language.
If that was Tanjiro in there, he'd be like getting stronger by the second though. Remember last time he didn't breathe for a minute and almost died? Daki almost died. Well, Kinda. But
Kinda.
yeah. All right, that's all I have you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.